I mean, Richie, do you think there's a team in the league that's played less this season without like a true five on the court? I mean, we've talked about this plenty in terms of just like how little the Hornets, and it popped even this past week. It popped up, and they had some lineups with Grant at center, so it's not like they don't do it. I think it was in the Indiana game when Musa didn't play, but just like they're getting ready to, again, likely go into the playoffs with, a second round pick, to basically 2 second round picks that are 24 years old playing their center rotation. Those guys are going to be on the court for, damn near 48 minutes per game. Like it is kind of crazy, but just, I don't know. Is this where you saw the rotation, I guess, going this season, Richie? Or do you think there's also a team out there that's maybe played fewer minutes,
Yeah.
without a five on the court this year?
Well, I can't say that I've thought about Ryan Kalkbrenner while running errands, so I can't say that. But yeah, this is not how I thought the center rotation was going to go. I first off didn't even think Ryan Kalkbrenner was going to start the first game of the season. So when that came out, that was a little bit of a surprise. But to see his impact kind of come and go throughout the season and to finish the season strong, I'm loving the fact that he's been able to be a presence on both ends of the court and just be a factor within the center rotation. We talked about preseason, this center rotation, how it was probably the weakest, I guess, in the position in terms of position rankings, but it ended up being stronger than we probably should have given it credit for. Yeah, I can't really speak to other teams out there. Like, I
Yeah.
can't really think off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, we're not seeing a lot of minutes with Grant Williams at the five or Miles Bridges at the five. Obviously, Tijan Salon is with the Swarm right now, and maybe that was a potential for playing the five. But it's funny, they're so distinct, though. Like, both Musa and Kalkbrenner are very distinct types of fives. And so it feels like you're having a change of pace when both of those guys come in. So that is what I will say to both of those things. Like, yeah, they're both traditional fives, but they don't play the same style.
Per cleaning the glass, if you look at Musa, PJ Hall, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Mason Plumlee, Xavier Tillman off the court, the Hornets have played 440 possessions all season long with with somebody else playing center. So,
Hmm.
Grant, Miles Bridges, Tijan Salon are the three guys that pop up most
Hmm.
frequently. So yeah, definitely not doing it a ton. Do either of you guys think that's a wrinkle they could pull out in a potential
Hmm.
playoff series? I mean, I think the Grant Williams at center minutes have been good. I think he's, big enough and strong enough to guard more traditional fives while still giving you that spacing element on defense on offense. He's a good communicator on defense as well. So be curious to know if that is something they'll pull out in a playoff series, late in a playoff series if they get there in order to just throw a different
Hmm.
look at whatever team they're playing.
I think it's definitely possible, especially if they match up with like Boston.
Mhm.
Um, who knows if the Celtics are going to push, Garza out of the rotation, or who knows what'll happen, I guess, with Vooch. But it's something I could potentially see it happening then, especially if Boston wants to, do Tatum at the five for stretches or whatever. Then I could see the Hornets potentially sliding Grant over. It's harder to envision it. I'd have to check some of the tracking that I have from this season just to know like when they sort of went to those lineups most. Um, but Detroit seems like a little bit more precarious, just given their size and their
Mhm.
their sort of like might on the glass and around their basket. But no, I think it's I postseason basketball is about options and problem solving and matchups. And so to have something like that in your back pocket will be important. It's a piece of the puzzle for them for sure. It just because the other two guys have played so well, and on part too because Grant was hurt for a big chunk of the season. We just haven't seen those lineups all that often this year.
Yeah, one thing I do worry about, one thing that the Hornets take advantage of is the offensive rebounding. And I wonder with Grant Williams in there, because he's so perimeter oriented, do you not get that advantage with the Hornets? Because they're trying to make up for certain things that they've got to compensate for. I thought they did awesome against the Timberwolves the other night with the offensive rebounding, even when Gobert was out there, which is kind of interesting because he's a very good rebounder. Because of the 16 offensive rebounds, 11 of them came with Gobert on the floor and they created those second chances. So I do think it should be or could be a change up to have Grant Williams out there. He's been playing some closing minutes, or at least been playing later into the game, maybe compared to earlier in the season. But having two centers out there like Kalkbrenner and Musa Diabate that are physical enough to get on the offensive boards or tap them out. I think Cockburn does a good job of like doing that tap out like Josh Green does. I think that's just an edge that the Hornets have. They want to keep going to, but if they need more offense, I could see them switching it over to Grant Williams.